Hey, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Time Live on Thirsty Thursday. Welcome. Let's just get this incense lit because once again, I didn't bring a fresh stick of Palo Santo out here. I'm feeling rather discombobulated this week. A new shift. I'm confused by the days of the week. Uh, anyways, I'd just like to ask at this time that I'm a clear and pure channel to bring through messages from Source Divine, loving and kind, with the intention of supporting our greatest and highest manifestation in this lifetime via the pathway of a calm central nervous system. So, hey, good morning, Kiva. How are you, sister? How's everyone doing? What a time to be alive. Oops, what have I done here? Oh my goodness, I'm feeling a little warm. Good, excellent. So we're just going to pull some cards today. What did I want to touch on? Well, let's just touch on the fact that the energy is rather intense since we've moved into Taurus season. And I suspect that we will continue, although we are feeling energetic movement forward, it is still a rather challenging time. So tomorrow when we connect, I'm feeling that we're going to do an evening live tomorrow because I am off. We do have some things to do tomorrow, my son and I, and then we have a family dinner at 5:30. So yeah, so I'm thinking tomorrow night, maybe around it just depends on what time we get home from the family dinner, but perhaps like 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock. We'll see how it goes for tomorrow. But when tomorrow we'll talk about some of the astrology again, because there is a lot of astrology supporting us. On the 27th, we will have our new moon in Taurus. And hopefully that is it feels like a very powerful new moon for intention setting, for really planting the seeds of what we would like to see grow in this season. And when I say season, I'm really speaking right through, into the summer, actually. So we're going to pull some cards here. Let me just see here. Can I separate these? Because I feel like I should. So we're going to pull some cards from the Moonology and the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and then the Queen of the Sun as well. But I had them all together. It's really hard to shuffle, and they haven't blended well together. So we'll take the Sun cards out, and we will pull those separately. Yeah, I really hope things shift too. Here in Canada, we are days away from a federal election, and the shit show is amped up to the extreme. Those who aren't in Canada, it would be great if you could send some light this way, because people like to say I'm dramatic. I don't have a good feeling for the trajectory of Canada and perhaps even North America in coming years. So this is perfect. So the first one, as I say, I don't have a good feeling. We get the card that says work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. And I'm pretty sure the last time we used this deck, we also received that card. And so what I'm feeling with this card is it's really, encouraging us to be mindful of the self-talk that goes on, of the things that we're saying to ourselves, the things that we're speaking into existence out there in the world. Really, really acting in a responsible way so that remember, we're the ones here as the seeds of change. And what is required for for all of you watching this now, whenever you watch it, whether live or on the replay, is that it's up to you. It's up to you to hold space and to really to hold the vibration, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to anchor and ground and hold the vibration as the planet moves through this shift of ages. And remember, we quite some time ago, I was sharing about that this whole shift and the age, the Aquarian age, really coming to life is in March of 2026. So we still have quite a ways to go. And as we go, it feels like it is going to be a rather bumpy ride. Oh, look at this. This is so perfect. Okay, so the next card out we got was the masculine, the lunar god, number 42, which is 6, our divine path of purpose in this lifetime. And right after that, we have the protection card. So we've got the mirror image here. And this is just a strong confirmation. It really feels like, and I love that the imagery here is a bird carrying this lady in a nest. So as we tend to our nest, as we tend to our home front, our physical body, the environment that we live in, it's important for, and as we follow our divine path of purpose in this lifetime, it feels really important for us to know that we are protected. And especially as women, I've been having a lot of conversations these days as a woman, as a middle-aged woman, living here in Canada, and to just see the decline in the quality of life in the last couple of handfuls of years. It's alarming, and it's happened, like the frog in the pot of water. It's a slow, you heat it up slowly, slow boil, and that by the time the frog realizes the water is boiling, he's basically cooked. So that's kind of what's happening to us here on the planet, but it feels like we're in a pressure cooker. And quite honestly, it feels like, depending on your socioeconomic status, it feels like many people are oblivious, right? They're so set in their ways. They're so set in this, I'm a liberal, and so this is what I'm going to keep doing, or I'm a conservative, and this is what I'm going to keep doing. And it really feels like there's so much closed minds. I mean, honestly, I guess it's up to each of us to work through our fears around what is happening. And I will say, though, there is a feeling of less safety externally than what we once enjoyed and celebrated here in Canada and, in fact, in North America, because I know the US is in the same situation. It's a global thing. It's almost like a pandemic. I can't really wink, but that's how I wink. Yeah, pandemic, right? And the next one we got is the void, the dark moon. And this is what we're coming up to on Sunday, is the new moon. And so this is really the fact that this came out today. It's really confirming that this is a powerful new moon for us to seed our intentions. And as we do, to really care for ourselves as we go, because again, there is a lot of dark energy at play, and people here on earth don't want to talk about heaven and hell, good and evil, God and satanic forces and stuff, and to our own disadvantage, not talking about that, because I suspect that the moment that the breath stops in our body, we will believe one way or another. And so it's probably good practice to go through life as a having faith in yourself and having faith in your connection to an eternally loving source that currently resides within your experience, within each of our experience. This card came out from, and it's funny because this card I saw on the bottom of the deck when the decks were combined. Yeah, so many things we don't talk about, and and then we have. Did you see the new guy who took over the WEF? If you don't know him, he's the former CEO of Nestle, which is a terribly evil company, terribly nefarious company. And their former CEO has now stepped into Anal Schwab's place. And he looks like he's got a reptilian eye. And he doesn't believe that water is a basic human right. I mean, who put these elite parasites in charge, and why do any of them think that we want to listen to them? That's what I want to know. And I want to know who the people are that actually do want to listen to them and agree. Yeah, so check him out. I forget what his name is, Peter or something. But you just look up, you'll be able to find it easy, no problem. But yeah, he looks like evil embodied. It's so gross. These people are gross. I don't even know if they're fully human, and certainly perhaps not connected to the loving creator that created us all. But then we've got this, and this feels very majestic to me. And this is about following our divine path of purpose. And it really feels like here, again, when we follow our divine path of purpose, the path of joy in our lifetime, we are spiritually protected and we are guided. Uh, what was one thing that was coming to mind here? Yeah. One thing you may be finding too in yourself, like there's a lot of energy around that is looking for confrontation, is looking for the fight. And, at one time, perhaps many of us, perhaps many of you like me, would have been all right, let's go, ding, ding, ding. And, these days, I really don't find that it is worth my time or energy to get into these debates with people, because it's not our job. It's not our role. Our role in this lifetime is to anchor into Mother Earth, our frequency, and to hold the highest possible frequency that we're able to hold. The highest frequency is the frequency of joy, and the lowest would be, these energies like guilt, shame, remorse, resentment, fear. These are really low vibey energies. So it feels like we're in this space that we're fine tuning our instrument, if you will. You know how if you, yeah, exactly. But you know how, oh, if people tune an instrument, like whether it's a guitar or a keyboard or whatever. It's like we are the instrument that's being fine tuned. And when someone hits a low note, when someone hits that low frequency, our job is to be the reverberation in that frequency that aligns, that elevates everyone, 1331, everyone to come higher. And so this is the role. It feels like this is the role of the divine feminine at this time, knowing that the masculine is supporting this transition, supporting the feminine to rise. And she has risen, right? And yes, she has risen because she has been resilient throughout this lifetime. And it's a number three, the energy of co-creation, the energy of the Trinity within, and this really feels like very healing. And look at like there this energy that's coming off the card. This is taking me right back to the first card. Yes, we've been resilient because we've had to. If I don't show up for myself, who the heck is going to show up for me? So far, it's not many. Thank you all for coming here. You show up and you're a bright spot in my life, which I'm really, really grateful for. So thank you. This really feels like we are here to shatter illusions. One of my dear sisters at work, she says, "Oh, Lisa, you're a bubble burster," because some people talk about things, that are just, nonsensical sometimes. And then so I'll know like a fact about something. And so I'll be like, oh, yeah, well, that's this. And then, oh, bursting bubbles again. And so I like to say now I've been bursting bubbles since, perhaps 1984, perhaps 1970, who knows? But what I'm really feeling on this card, it's like really time to let our anger go. It's really time, bubble burster. Yeah, yeah, but that's okay because, like bursting the bubbles of illusion is good. Like even about Nestle, right? Nestle's a terrible, lacking in integrity company, and Nestle has its tentacles. When people actually look at the connection of all these big corporations, these big companies, they're all interconnected. And I mean, I stopped supporting Nestle. I mean, turtles were one of my favorite treats. I still remember the commercial from the 70s and 80s with the dancing turtles and their top hats. And yet, I've stopped eating turtles, a dozen, 15 years ago, something like that, because I literally cannot support a company that doesn't feel that water is a basic human right. And they bottle all that water. I mean, I what I understand a lot is Nestle is like harvesting the natural resources of countries like Canada, and like basically stealing and bottling things such as water. And I mean, bottled water, what a joke. What a joke. Anyways, oh, it's not a TED talk or a Lisa talk, or maybe it is. Maybe that's the point of this channel. I don't know. So I'm just getting this energy of irritation, though, off of this face here. And, perhaps we need to be really irritated, really offended, our intelligence insulted in order us to break free from these nefarious systems that we have been um, what have we been that we kind of live within, right? Because like society is, especially here in the first world, I mean, I think the first world is in for a really rude awakening, unfortunately. Yeah, Lisa talk, forget the TED talks, we got Lisa talks here. Little Lisa Lyle who thinks she knows something. Anyways, all right, so resilience, what else have we got? I've been seeing so many bird messengers. Hawk's been a big one in the last couple of days. Um, Hawks and thank you, Kiva. Hawks and what was the other one? Oh, the herring. You all know the heron has been around. We'll talk a little bit more about the herring and stuff like that. Hawks, yeah, I've been seeing a Cooper's hawk is the guy that I seem to see quite a bit, which I've been, connected to for probably first time I spotted one maybe 20 years ago, and it's been a regular visitor. And after Frank passed, we always had one that came to the yard, and after he died, it came to the yard and landed on his wheelbarrow and sat there for the longest time. It was so beautiful. Okay, and then we've got the rest card, and it's taking me right back to the void card. 111, make a wish. We are here to live our bliss. And look, this, here in the dark moon, over here in the dark moon, she's resting. And then here in the light of day, she is resting in this beautiful garden that is growing, and it feels like this is the garden of her own making. These are seeds that she has planted. This is the purity of her heart shining through as she rests, comfortably in the meadow, knowing that all of her wishes and her dreams are coming true. And it's important for her as her wishes and dreams begin to manifest. It's really important for her to take heed and rest. And I feel like, as a society, we don't really place a lot of value on the rest state. And yet I trust many of you do place value on your rest time, knowing that your mental health is important. And this is a number 7, reflecting our physical body. I thought I just heard, I heard a voice. Oh, okay, my son's up. I'm like, oh my gosh. Jeez. I'm like, what is that? Who's talking? Okay. So, this is feeling chariot vibes to me. I'm feeling the chariot energy here. And so 16 reduces to a 7, which is the chariot. Sorry. Which is the chariot. 7 for me is the number of our physical body and our spiritual ascension through the awakening of our wheels of light within the chakra system within our physical body. And so, as I was saying, that many people don't see the value in rest. There is great value, and it supports our mental wellness, our mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being. It's so interconnected. It was 2112 there. It's so interconnected. And a lot of times, like when we're feeling depressed, it requires deep rest. And you, I feel like a part of um, overcoming or taking responsibility for our mental, emotional, spiritual well being requires our ability to listen to that voice within when it says it's time for rest, or, because many of us disregard that, right? Well, I'm so busy, I have so much to do. I can't rest. And yet, if we do not heed the inner guidance, the inner nudges that we are receiving, eventually it's going to be a big hit that's going to require us to rest. We're not going to have time. There's a saying out there: if we don't take time for our health, then for our wellness, then we will be forced to show up for ourselves two via our illness. So it's really important to rest. And again, we've got all this white energy, the purity of the heart, the resilience of the mind, the ability to overcome the inflexibility of a closed mind. And I feel that that's what we're seeing a lot. There's a lot of closed energy, these two. Oh, yay, yay, some goodness. Oh, right. Okay. So the final 3 beauties for this message are the fertility card, Flora, which is a 9. Yeah, it is no joke. And, we don't, there's no value. And then most people, if they don't feel well, they run to a doctor, a white jacket, to tell them what's wrong. And most people, without question, trust these people because they feel like they're smarter or more knowledgeable, or they went to school for it. And yet, um, everything, an indoctrination system, everything is a system, and we are the finest technology. And we are the medicine this world needs. And so it requires many of us to show up for ourselves by listening to the inner voice, by listening to the inner nudges. And I'm not saying there's no value in the medical establishment. Of course there is, absolutely there is. And yet, the modern day medicine ought to be incorporated with traditional medicine, plant-based medicine. How many doctors ever talk to people about nutrition and the minerals and vitamins we need? And there's not a lot of talk about that. One thing I would encourage people to use, I've been saying it here for years, is working with iodine as well, because there's a huge iodine crisis. We are so deficient of minerals and vitamins, that the essential minerals and vitamins that we need, because the world is being poisoned from the skies and from all the kind of nefarious stuff that humans do down here on this planet. And so we're not getting where at one time we used to get our trace minerals from the foods we eat. Yeah, you know what I do? I'm going to go get my iodine. I want to show you just a sec. So it had a stopper, but it broke. And so what I generally just do with the iodine is I just like put it on my arm every day after I bathe. I'll put it on my arm and then just rub the other arm in, and then I'll do it again. Because I used to ingest it as well, Kiva. I ingested it. I couldn't stand the taste of it, honestly. I mean, I would still do it, but then I thought, oh, this is a visual way for me to see how the iodine is being absorbed in my body, or how my body's absorbing it. And I would encourage everyone to get some and put it on your skin, and then see how long it takes for the orange to be absorbed into the skin, and to work with that every day, because iodine supports the function of the thyroid, right? And we hear, like, how many of us know people that have thyroid issues? I know so many people that have thyroid issues, and perhaps the solution is some iodine. So I really encourage, and I'm not discouraging working with the medical establishment or anything like that. What I am encouraging is to tune in more and listen and work with with nature, with God, the angels. Work with your team to get the messages you need. And oftentimes you will receive. And the key is receiving and having faith and trusting in yourself and taking action accordingly, right? Because so many people disregard, and then they go, and then it becomes this cycle. Like, how many people go to the doctor because they're depressed, and then the doctor prescribes a pill, and yet there's no real addressing of the underlying issues that is causing the depression. And I'm speaking from someone who's probably, although I've never been diagnosed with anything, probably because I don't go to get diagnosed. Likely, though, at some points in time in my life, I could have been probably diagnosed as depressed or anxious. And even after Frank died, they wanted, because I was having serious panic attacks and like severe anxiety and stuff. And of course, they wanted to give me something. And of course, I didn't want anything. And so I didn't take anything. And I worked through things as I usually do with nature, with my spiritual practices. And, here I sit today, for the most part, shining most days as the joyful muse. And that doesn't mean like there's not moments when, there's challenges, of course, of course. Yet this is saying that there's so much growth. 18, it's wrapping up. We're wrapping up a cycle. It comes to that 9 energy, completion. So that the new growth after the rest, like, look, this is so fertile, because we are the ones here weaving. We are, we've been talking about through the eye of the needle and all this kind of stuff. And it feels like we're not quite through yet. We're getting there. Perhaps this weekend, on the other side of this weekend, we'll be through the needle, and then we will begin to weave our beautiful tapestry of light as the master co-creator that we came here to be. Yeah. I'm ready to get that thread out on the other side and really leave what is heavy and what is weighing you down. It's like what I have found in the recent week is that there has been the temptation to repeat cycles, to go back to cycles, to go back to, remember, we received the message, do not regress invest in yourself. And so that has been continually playing through my mind when it comes to decision making and the choices we're making. Are the choices you're making today supporting your greatest and highest outcome in this lifetime? Or are they putting you into a cycle of repeat because of familiarity, because it's comfortable, because, it's what you know? Remember, we were told to stick our neck out and go into the realms of the unknown, right? The great mystery, the void. And this new moon, the dark moon, we won't see it in the sky for 3 nights, 3 days and 3 nights, right? Yet we know it's there. But it's the 3 days of the month that we don't see the moon in the sky. And I feel like there's something really sacred and important about it this particular time, because it's almost like we are being called as we move through here in Canada, what is the election cycle. Oh, it feels so important that we are not allowing our energy to be siphoned. Because for those of you here watching this, men, women, and children, you are the sensitives. You are the highly sensitive ones. You are the modern day mystics that this world needs. We are the medicine that is being injected into this timeline. Yeah. And that's exactly. We are going into uncharted territory, which is our destiny, which is our divine birthright. And it may be, a bumpy cosmic ride here down on this earthly realm. And yet we are going to get to the other side. Our safety is assured. And, this is what it's all about: contentment, fulfillment of the soul. And, it doesn't mean that life is perfect, right? It's being happy and at peace and joyful and experiencing ease where we are. And any of these external controls don't support this. When we disconnect ourselves from the establishment, the governmental organizations around the world, then we can come to this place where we experience ease and contentment. All the external is meant to create this divisive energy here on earth where it's me against you and you against them and us against them and this against that. And it's so exhausting. I mean, it's so exhausting. And it's kind of like fool's play, you know? Yeah, it's kind of like the Looney Tunes, which perhaps this is a good way to end the live because I found it so entertaining. Hopefully you do too. I mean, the things I find entertaining, but I thought it was funny. And that's someone who grew up with Looney Tunes. Most of it. Most of it. Anything that tells you you need someone external to direct and guide your life is a joke, right? Isn't it funny? I love it. I should just put it on my wallpaper here. Yeah. And so when we understand this, when we understand that this entire matrix, if you will, and in my book, I believe there's one part where it's like we are the glitch in the matrix. We are the ones that are here to be the glitch. And it's not easy to be the glitch that switches things from, let's say, unholy to divine, and yet that's exactly what we came for at this time. And honestly, that's what the children of this world need. They need us to show up. That's what I keep trying to um, share with people. When I go out there and I do talk about anything in the world, it's like we need to show up. We need to not think about ourselves. There is, the native teaching and understanding that what we are here and what we're here for is in service to the next 7 generations and the 7 generations that came before. So we're doing the healing that those generations before us couldn't do. We're freeing ourselves in ways that those who came before us were unable to do. And they celebrate us. Remember, we've received that message a lot. They celebrate us. And we're also supposed to make the world a better place for the next 7 generations to come. And currently, we are not collectively on that trajectory. What we're doing is creating even more of a prison planet experience for the children of the world. And we've seen that in the last 5 years, where we have children confused about what they are, and adults condoning the butchering of divinity, divine perfection, a beautiful and perfect child of God as they are, without medical intervention. The scars that are being inflicted upon the children now are deep and dark, in fact. And so, it's really time for us to turn that around, please, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. What are we doing? What are we doing? And what this really is, I like to say as a Canadian, that Canadians have generationally been compliant and complacent. It doesn't really affect me, while I'm sitting here watching my TV, having my smoke and drinking my beer and doing what I do. It doesn't really affect me. Yeah, it does. And the fact that we sat around for 50, 60 years saying it didn't really affect us, well, now it matters. It affects us. It always did. But we were told, generationally complacent and compliant. Canadians at one time were viewed as it's kind of like, oh, Canadians, the Canadian way of life. So peaceful. Canadians are so polite and all of this. Yeah, I mean, we bump into a wall and we say sorry. At work yesterday, we had a big Canadian standoff. One of the reach truck drivers and myself, I was at a walkway and he was coming through and I'm like, go. And he's like, no, you go. And I'm like, no, go. He's like, no, go. And I'm like, no, really, go. So later we're like, we just had a Canadian standoff, telling each other to go because we're so polite. It happens at 4-way stops all the time. It's ridiculous. So, I really feel like this is a time for us to stand up. Are you content? Are you happy with your life? Because our spirit, our soul is the most faithful companion that we will ever have in this lifetime. So are we being true to ourselves? Are you being true to you? Are you content? Are you happy? Are you peaceful? How do you feel? These are really important questions. And it's really important that I shuffled the cards in this again. We're fertile. We are fertile. That's what this is saying. Is 18 the tower in the major arcana? Is 18 the tower? Let me just see that. I think it's the tower, right? Yeah. Oh, it's the moon. So it's the moon. So it's about the shadow. So 16 is the tower, 18 is the moon. And this is the shadow. And so on the other side of the shadow, when we shine light, we are the light in the shadow, then, we get to see all the abundance that's there, all the seeds that we've been nurturing and growing for years, how they are coming to life via the pathway of our calm central nervous system, honoring our emotions. What did I want to show you? I wanted to show you one other thing here, and then I'm going to see what's going on with the young man. How are you all doing? How are you all feeling? I've been struggling a little bit this week, which is one of the reasons I didn't come live yesterday. I had a terrible toothache on Tuesday, and I need a root canal. But this is one of the things too. We live in the first world where, here in Canada, one of the things that people used to pride is this socialist medical system we have where everything's paid for. Well, that's not quite the reality here. And one of the things I has been bothering me, probably because my tooth has been bothering me for a couple of days, and I do know I need a root canal. And again, it's like, as a single person working full time, um, many people are barely getting by. And so things that are necessities, that are basic human rights, like, dental care and this kind of stuff, many people can't afford it. And the government here in Canada will tell you, well, they have this great dental program. It's only for people that actually have absolutely nothing. Not many Canadians qualify to take advantage of this new, program, the dental program that's being offered. So many people suffer, and many people end up, say, like, losing teeth, having teeth pulled and stuff, because they literally can't afford to get their teeth fixed. There's something wrong with the world, and there's something wrong when people are working a full-time job, which does have benefits. This is it. And the company I work for, they say that they're, comparable. I'll say, like, look, the reality is most don't make a living wage, you know, present company included, because if all that if all that we're working for is just to keep shelter and food, like shelter over our head and food on our table, is it really a living wage? If you can't afford to care for yourself in the ways that you deserve to be cared for, like getting your teeth fixed. Like, I've literally known for 3 months that 4 months, since just before Christmas, that this tooth needed a root canal. I've been trying to hold it out until May 1st, when I get $1,000, which will be gone with the one root canal. Plus I will owe hundreds of dollars on top of that. So this is a problem when people are suffering and struggling because literally they cannot afford to care for themselves in ways that they deserve to be cared for, even though they're working full time. And people will say, well, go get another job. Well, fuck you. Excuse my language. Why do I need to work two jobs just to survive? And, I'm 55. I'm thinking about my son, who's 21. The young ladies at work who are in their early 30s, who are getting so discouraged that home ownership is further and further away. When I was in my 20s and 30s at that time, so say 1991, I was able to buy a house. Uh, my first husband and I were able to buy a house for like $165,000 in 1991, so 30 years ago. Now that same house, I should go look it up and see what it would cost. It was a small, tiny little thing, a raised bungalow. It was, at that time, it was out of the city limits. We were about 45 minutes from Toronto. But I bet you that same place now is close to $1 million. Townhouses, $1 million. Apartment, I rent a 3-bedroom apartment, $2,100. Right? So there's big problems that we need to fix and that need to be addressed, and we need to start talking about these difficult things. Right wing, left wing, same bird. Red, blue, same bird. So it's all absurd. And we're acting like a bunch of down here we act like the other doesn't matter. And here in Canada, it's been very upsetting because since the COVID rolled across the planet, the divisive energy, Canada used to be like a very unified country, although we weren't very patriotic. We weren't. I always used to say, Americans are so patriotic. How come we're not? Because you'd only really see the Canadian flag on like Canada Day and stuff like that. Now the elbows up crew, no one had their elbows up when your elderly family members were dying in seniors' homes 5 years ago and you weren't allowed to be with them. But they filled a glove with water, a medical glove with warm water, so the dying person felt that they were comforted, right? Come on. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. And honestly, most days I could walk around and when I start talking and when I start thinking about the reality of the situation that we're all in, I could cry. Yet, I do know that we are the ones here flipping the script. And I do know that this transition isn't going to be easy, but we are going to make it to the other side. We're going to make it to the other side and we're going to thrive. And we're doing that now. We are starting that now. So I'm not sure what this whole Lisa talk was about today, but I trust that something here resonated with you, that you felt, supported. you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's Friday. It's been a long week. It's been an emotionally challenging week. It's been a painful week. My mom, it's funny because, just this story and I'll share because I am pretty, natural, with the things that I use. I don't, really, I don't use medicines for the most part. Um, but I was in such pain on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. And I went to work and, I was just like, and I work in a cold environment. So you know how it is if you have a sensitive tooth and the cold, everything's so sensitive. So I had my face all wrapped up with like a neck scarf I pulled up over my face. And I guess because I am a certain energy most days, it was noticeable to those around that something was up. And one of the young men that works there, he actually jumped off of his truck and came over to me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I have a toothache. I'm in a bit of pain." But it was so sweet, that, someone noticed that the shift was enough that somebody noticed something was up. And actually quite a few people did. So anyways, one of the young ladies I work for, she's like, "Would you like something?" So she gave me, what was it? A Tylenol extra strength, 2 of them. And I took 2 of them. And so our lunch is at 8 p.m. So I think I took them at like 7:15 or something. And by 8 o'clock, I was loopy. I was loopy. I felt like I was high. Everyone's like, "Are you okay? You're feeling better now." I'm like, "Oh, yeah. She gave me some drugs. I feel good." And so, it's interesting when we don't rely on that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just a Tylenol extra strength. And now I have some Advil gel caps I've been taking just to kind of manage the pain until I can get it taken care of. So, anyways, that was just a funny little story I wanted to share. Yeah, yeah, tooth pain is the worst, and our teeth, oral health is so important to our overall health, and I take care of my teeth, but I take care of my teeth. And there have been, unfortunately, large periods of time in my life when I wasn't working, outside of the house where there was no benefits, right? So it's like pick or choose. What is the priority, right? And it's usually the children, the child, or whatever, takes precedence over the mother, the parent. Is everything okay, James? Huh? What happened? Oh, did it break? Oh, okay. So, yeah, it is a little bit better. It's manageable, but when you have like tooth pain, it hurts right here. My face feels bruised. Um, but what I was going to say is like, if you've ever seen, I'll try to make a post of it on my Instagram, but I have this post that shows you the teeth and then all the nerves that, how everything's so interconnected. And so, there's something to be said. Everybody should have access to oral care. So, that would improve our health care, and all that good stuff. So that's the Lisa talk for today, everyone. I think it's time for me to go and get some fresh air, before I go and get this Friday done. So stay tuned. Watch. I'll put up I'll schedule a live. It'll probably be tomorrow night around 9. I'm thinking we'll probably be home by then. So that's a good time. I don't want to have to keep changing the time. So I look forward to seeing you. Thank you. I feel that you're wonderful too, Kiva. Thank you so much for showing up. All of you. Thank you so much for showing up. If anything in this Lisa talk resonated, please do consider subscribing to the channel, especially if you're still here. I appreciate you hitting that little button. It helps this channel to grow. It helps in um, uh, substantial ways. So thank you for that. And with that, I just want you all to know I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you're in my energy and that you allow me to be in yours. I see you, I feel you, I love you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you here tomorrow night, Friday Night Live. Until then, take good care. Kiva, love you. Have a fantastic day, sis. Until tomorrow. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar.